Okay, so speed of the driver member A is given 975 rpm. So the NA is 975 rpm, and the number of teeth for all A, B, C, D, E, F is given. And to how to solve the speed for F, so that you need to calculate here. So you can use this equation. So speed of the first driver to the speed of the last driven or follower is the product of number of teeth on the driven versus drivers. So from the figure, what you can see that A, C, E are the drivers, where B, D and F are the driven or followers. So if A is having the clockwise direction and B and C are actually the compound gear train which is connected, that is compound gears, so on the same shaft, and also D and E are also in the same shaft, so that is also a compound gear there, and the direction will be opposite that of the B and C with compared to D and E. So A moves in clockwise, so B and C will be anti-clockwise, and D and E will have again clockwise, and F will have the anti-clockwise direction. So NA by NF will be TB into TD into TF divided by TA into TC into TE. So if you solve it, you get the ratio NA by NF as 18.75, and NF will be equal to NA by 18.75. So NA is already given in the question, that is a 975 rpm, and when you solve it NF, you get 52 rpm. Okay, so only one step answer you will be getting. So this is where you can solve for the compound gear train. Okay, so just one step you can solve it. Next, let us see about the reverted gear train. So in reverted gear train, what happens? You can see as in the figure. So when the axis of the first gear and the last gear, okay, that is the first driver and the last driven, that is follower, if they are coaxial, then the gear train is known as the reverted gear train. So you can see 1 and 4, they are coaxial. So 1 and 4 again they are coming in the same inline. Even they are compounded by 1 and 2, and then 2 to 3 again is a compound gear, and again 3 is again back to 4, but still you can see the axis, that is for shaft which is coming for the gear 1 and 4, they are having the same coaxial shafts. From the figure you can see that. So in this case it is known as the reverted gear train. So first actually the first gear, that is drives the gear 2 in the opposite direction. So 1 and 2 you can see opposite direction, 2 and 3 again the same directions which will be there because of the same shaft, and the gear 3 will rotate in the same direction that of gear 2, and then gear 3 that will drive the gear 4 in the same direction. You can see in this figure there, okay, as that of gear 1. So thus in the gear train, the first and the last gear almost like a same thing. So first and 4 you can see the direction is same. Okay, so this is known as the reverted gear train. So if you consider the equation for reverted gear train, so let us take as T1 as the number of teeth on the gear 1, and whereas R1 as the pitch circle radius of the gear 1, and N1 as the speed of gear 1, and similarly for other teeth we take it as T2, T3, T4, and pitch circle radius R2, R3, R4 for other gears, and speed also we take N2, N3, N4. And if you take the distance from the center of the shaft for gear 1 and 2 as well as gear 3 and gear 4, so you know that R1 plus R2 will be R3 plus R4, because 1 and 2 you can see that, and 3 and 4 will be equal there, and also the circular pitch or module of all gears is assumed to be same. Therefore the number of teeth on each gear is directly proportional to the circumference or radius. So in that case R you can see always proportional to the number of teeth. So you can take it as R is proportional to T, because mt by 2 you take. So it is R is proportional to T. So T1 plus T2 will be equal to T3 plus T4. So in this condition, the speed ratio, as you know, it is product of number of teeth on the drivens by the product of number of teeth on the drivers. So you get N1 by N4 as T2 into T4 divided by T1 into T3. And these equations, what you have taken 1, 2, 3. So we can determine the number of teeth on each gear for the given center distance, speed ratio and module, only when the number of teeth of one gear is chosen arbitrarily. And the reverted gear trains are actually used in automatic transmission like lathe, back gears, industrial speed reducers, and also in clock. So where the minute and the hour hand shafts are coaxial. So sometimes in the objective questions it is asked where where in which type of gear train can be considered when the minute and hour hand clocks, that where it will be, which gear train will be useful. So that is nothing but reverted gear train, because it has to be coaxial there. So this reverted gear train will be helpful in this type of devices. So let us take one problem on reverted gear train. So the speed ratio of the reverted gear train, as in the figure you can see, is to be 12 there. So the speed ratio NA by ND, so that is given as 12 there. So this is the driver, A to B connected, and B in again C2, and again C and D are connected, where you can see driver and driven, you can see the same coaxial, they are coaxial. So the NA by ND is given as 12, and the module pitch of the gears A and B, so that is given as 3.125, that is a module for A and B. So MA and MB 3.125 is given, and as of C and D, that is MC and MD, so that is again given as 2.5. So all the module is given there, and you have to calculate the suitable number of teeth for the gear, and no gear is to have less than 24 teeth. Okay, so let us solve the problem. So even the distance is also given there. So from the driver to the A to B, then again C to D, you can see that then distance between that also given as 200 mm there in the question. Okay, and so MA and MB, MC and MD as given. So let us take the N as the speed for all the things like ABCD, and T as the number of teeth for again ABCD, like that corresponding to ABCD, and pitch circle radius as RA. So RA or RB or RC or RD. So this all things we have considered here, and you know that circular pitch actually PC is nothing but pi into M, so that is 2 pi R by T, where R equal to MT by 2. So similarly R1 will be MT1 by 2, R2 will be MT2 by 2, and R3 will be MT3 by 2, like that. R4 will be MT4 by 2. So this is nothing but you can get T1 plus T2 is equal to T3 plus T4. That only we have seen in the last case now. Okay. So using this relation, you can solve the problem here. So by the speed ratio is also given there. So NA by NB equal to NC by ND. So if you consider that, so you get the value of ratio, or there is NA by NB by using this consideration, and the speed ratio of any pair of gears in mesh is actually the inverse of their number of teeth. So using that you get a TB by TA, or a TD by TC, and the distance of the shaft, that is also given there, that is RA plus RB equal to RC plus RD, that is also given, that is 200 mm. So the combination of all these things, distance will be equal to M into T by 2, that can be taken as radius. So MA TA by 2 plus MB TB by 2, that will be equal to MC TC by 2 and MD TD by 2, that will be equal to 200. So using the equations there, by using the equations for unknown by taking these things and substituting the values of Ta, Tb, whatever you are getting. So finally we will be getting the simultaneous equation for this, and from there you can calculate the value of Ta, Tb, Tc and Td respectively. So you get some values, and these things can be calculated, and finally you can get to the ratio, that the speed ratio of the given gate train. So Na by Nd you get around 12.3, which was given in the question. Okay, so like this you can solve for the reverted gate train. So actually we will not get any problem on the reverted gate trains. So mainly I told you, epicyclic gate train you have to concentrate. So just to make you understand how this will be working, so I have taken this problem. Okay, so we'll continue with the next type of gate train, that is epicyclic gate train. So this is the main thing what you're going to solve now. Okay, so problems on epicyclic gate train will be asked in the exam, and so let us understand what is this epicyclic gate train. So epicyclic gate train, so the axis of the shafts over which the gears are mounted, so may have a move relative to the fixed axis. You can see is the figure, there is one arm attached to the gears. Okay, so whenever you see a linkages or an arm is attached to the gears, so that becomes you can consider that problem can be a type of epicyclic. Okay, so till now you have seen only the gears which are connected, there is not any arm or any links which are fixed here. Okay, so a simple epicyclic gate train you can see where the in the figure as a gear A and gear that R will be gear B, that is having a type of arm C, which is a common here, and you can see the center O1 and O2, that center you can give from A and B. Okay, so the gear B meshes with the gear A, has its axis on the arm at O2, and about which the gear B can rotate there. And if the arm is fixed, the gate train is simple, and gear A can drive gear B or vice versa. But if the gear A is fixed and the arm is to rotated about the axis of gear A, then the gear B is forced to rotate upon and around the gear A. So such a motion is called the epicyclic, and the gate trains arranged in this manner, so which is having more number of members around with another members, so they are known as epicyclic gate trains. That epi means upon and cyclic means around, so something which is having around that things they are known as epicyclic. So epicyclic gate trains again may be simple or compound or a combination of many things. So they are useful for transmitting high velocity ratios with gears of moderate size in a comparatively SR space, and also the epicyclic gate train are used in the back gear of the lathe differential gears of the automobiles, hoists and pulley blocks, wristwatches and all. So for this we will be using two types of methods, one is the tabulation method and one is algebraic method. So first let us see this table how to solve this. Okay, so directly I will tell with an example taking one problem, so that you will be more comfortable. Okay, so in this we start with a simple gate train which consists of only two gears and connected by an arm there. So in the figure you can see A and B having two gears, and in that which is connected by arm C. So A having 36 teeth and B having 45 teeth is given in the question, and if the arm rotates at 150 rpm in the anti-clockwise direction about the center of the gear A, which is fixed, you have to determine the speed of gear B. And if the gear A instead of being fixed makes 300 rpm in the clockwise direction, what will be the speed of gear B? That is asked in the question there. Okay, so there are two cases here. So let us first understand how to start the problem. Okay, so this is very important, how to start the problem. So always the first step is that what is given in the question, that you first write. So that is TA is given there 36 and TB is given as 45, and the speed for the arm is given, that is NC, that is 150 RPM. It is given in anti-clockwise direction. So whatever is given, you write down. Now come to the method how to solve this. Okay, so first let us use the tabular method, and how to get the table of motion, that we'll see now. Okay, so this table actually will be a common table for all problems. Okay, always you have to use this table only, so you have to remember these things. So first let us understand what are the things. So mainly there are 3 steps, 1, 2, 3. The last one is just the addition of all the things, that is total motion. Okay, so first condition of motions, what you have to do is that you have to arm that is fixed, and gear A rotates through +1 revolution, that is 1 revolution and anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so what you have to do is that you have to fix the arm. Okay, you have to fix the arm irrespective of the given condition in the question. You just have to neglect everything. After giving the initial condition of the question, you just forget what is to be done or what is to be calculated, everything. So you go by the procedure. First step is that you have to make one arm, that is first one, that you have to make it as fixed. So you make arm as fixed. If you make a arm as fixed, means it is completely 0. Means revolution of the given elements, if you take the revolution of elements, so if it is fixed means it is 0. Okay, so arm is fixed means it is 0. Then gear A rotates through +1 revolution, that is 1 revolution anti-clockwise. Okay, so here also this is also will be same the step. So that is next gear which is corresponding to that arm. So that gear will have +1 revolution. So in this problem, this is made at completely fixed here, and then +1 revolution is given to gear A, and it is given in the anti-clockwise direction, like this. Okay, if this is in anti-clockwise direction, automatically the gear B will have the opposite direction. Okay, so the first step is to make arm C as fixed, so you will get 0 here, and then gear A you give +1 revolution, so you write +1. Okay, you have considered anti-clockwise as positive, so 1 revolution anti-clockwise, so +1. If you take reverse also, you will get the finally the same answer. So what conditions you take in beginning, whether anti-clockwise or clockwise, so automatically you will be getting the same answer at the end. So don't worry, just consider one condition. So we have taken here +1 revolution as anti-clockwise here. So gear B will move in the opposite direction. You can see if +1 is given revolution to given A as anti-clockwise, automatically B is going to rotate in clockwise direction. Now how to take this ratio? So it is coming from A to B. So you have to take the ratio in the form of TA by TB. So it is coming the ratio of, if you want to get the moment revolution of elements for B, so it is from A to B. So it is nothing but the value of TA by TB. This minus is because of opposite direction compared to the gear A. Okay, so gear A is +1, so it should be gear B will be minus. So minus TA by TB. Okay, so it is the ratio of the previous gear by the present gear. So always if you want to clarify yourself, so whatever gear you write at the top side, so that should be in the denominator, then that will be correct. Okay, so you can take this help. Okay, so this is the first step. Once you done with the first step, rest all steps are again also repetitive and same thing. So if you do first step correctly, automatically the entire step will be correct. So second step, you have to arm fixed gear A rotates through +1 plus x revolution, means you have to add plus x to all the components which you have taken in the first step. Okay, that is, you have to multiply this by plus x revolution. So if you multiply this by 0 into x is 0 only. 0 into x will be 0 only. So you got 0. Now this is +1. So +1 into x is how much? So you get nothing but plus x. Okay. Second step, again multiplying by this plus x, you get minus x into Ta by Tb. Okay. So second step is just to multiply this by x. You have to remember this. So this will be same for all the problems. Same procedure. Now third step is to add plus y revolution to all elements. Add plus y revolution to all elements. Now first second step into x, third step is plus y. So whatever you got in the now second thing, just you add a plus y to this. So plus y, plus y, plus y. So add this revolution to all the elements. Now total motion becomes whatever you written here x. So x, here it is x into 0. So this is 0. So 0 plus y is y. Now you got here plus x. So x plus y. So you got x plus y here. Then minus x into Ta plus Tb divided by Tb plus y. So you get y minus x into Ta by Tb. Okay. So you got now total motion for arm C as plus y. For gear A you got x plus y, and for gear B you got y minus x into Ta by Tb. So these three now you have to use in the given condition of the given problem. Okay. So always you have to remember this step how to do. So here only 3 components are there, so you have taken 3. Suppose now there are 5 terms like 1 arm and 4 gears. So here there will be a total 5 terms like that. So this is only simple problem. So only 3 things are there. So only arm and 2 gears. So only we have taken 3. So always what you have to do, you have to make arm fixed, and the corresponding gear to that arm you have to give +1 revolution. Okay. Now from the question, what are the parameters that you need to see? So this is the problem first. So this is the initial condition. So here the problem will start. So first, if the arm rotates at 150 rpm in the anti-clockwise direction about the center of the gear A, which is fixed, you have to determine the speed of gear B. So this is one condition. So this is, don't go to the second condition immediately. So first we will solve this first condition. So here what is the initial condition that you need to understand? If arm rotates at 150 rpm means, what is this? This is the speed of the arm. So what is the arm here we have taken? It is nothing but C. So here he has given the value of y. Now you will think that what is this x and y? So this x and y are unknown things. Once you get the values of x and y, if you substitute in this value, automatically you will be getting the speed of the corresponding gears with this total motion. Okay. So here he has given the initial condition for the arm C. So here he has given 150 rpm in anti-clockwise direction. Okay. He has given the speed of arm C. Now about the center of gear A which is fixed, means if gear A is fixed, means which is gear A here? This x plus y. So if gear A is fixed, what you get? You get for NA This is fixed means it is 0. Okay. So once you get NC and NA, so what you get? You get here Y is for C. So this is nothing but you can consider as Y. And here for A, what it has told? X plus Y. So here nothing but this is nothing but X plus Y. So X plus Y can be 0 and Y also 150. So like this you have to take the condition in the question. So let us solve it now. So when you have to find out the speed of gear B when gear A is fixed, means since the speed of the arm 150 rpm anticlockwise is given there, means he has given for this condition arm is Y. So here you can take Y is equal to 150 rpm. It matches with the anticlockwise direction which is you are taken as anticlockwise, and this also we take it as Y equal to 150 rpm. Okay, so this is the first condition what we got from the given condition. This is the first condition. Second condition, we got A as fixed. If gear A is fixed means NA is equal to 0, means X plus Y is gear A now. Okay, so X plus Y is equal to 0. So this is the another condition. So this is the condition number 2, second condition. So now using these two condition, you can solve X and Y. So you know Y is equal to 150. So if you substitute here 150, so you get X is equal to minus 150. So same thing you got here. So X is equal to minus Y and you get minus 150. So you got the value of X also and you got the value of Y also. Both X and Y is known to you now. Now what is asked in the question? You have to find out the speed of gear B. Now what is speed of gear B? This is the speed of gear B. So if you want to calculate now NB, so NB is equal to Y minus X into TA by TB. So this is the equation for gear B. Okay, so Y is equal to minus X into TA by TB. So if you find out NB as Y minus X into TA by TB, you will be getting the speed of gear B. Now you can substitute the value of Y, X and TA and TB already given in the question. So TA was 36 and TB was 45. Okay, so if you substitute the value of TA and TB here 36 and 45, you get 270 rpm. Okay, so 270 rpm, if it is positive means it is anticlockwise only, because you are taken anticlockwise as here consideration for Y 150 rpm. Okay, so all anticlockwise you are taken as positive. So this is the first condition. Now he has given one more condition. So this is over now. Now if the gear A instead of being fixed makes 300 rpm, means instead of being this fixed, this was given in the first question, first condition. Now he has told instead of being fixed it makes 300 rpm in clockwise. So here now he has given the second another condition, NA is now 300 rpm in the second condition. Okay, and that direction is clockwise. So that is nothing but X plus Y. Okay, so when gear A makes 300 rpm clockwise, means X plus Y is minus 300. So last what you are taken, anti-clockwise or positive. So this is clockwise. So we have to take minus 300. So X plus Y for gear A, we take it as minus 300. So this condition is given. Okay, so once you get X plus Y is equal to minus 300, what you get? Y already it is same, because Y is already 150 rpm. That is, he has not changed that condition. Okay, so X is minus 300 minus Y here, So you get x1 as x as minus 450. So now you get x as minus 450, and y you get already was got 150. So you substitute now to get the speed of gear B. Now what will be the speed of NB? Substitute with the new values. So here y is 150 and x is minus 450. So minus of minus 450. So this is 450. So 36 and 45. Now you get dear speed of B as 510 rpm, and the direction is anti-clockwise. So you got this answer. Okay. I will wait. So in the algebraic method, the motion of each element of the epicyclic train relative to the arm is set down in the form of equations. So table is not used here, directly we have to go with the equations. So the number of equations depends upon the number of elements in the gear train, but the two conditions are usually supplied in an epicyclic train, that is some element is fixed and some other having some specified motions. So these two conditions are sufficient to solve all the equations, and hence to determine the motion of any element in the epicyclic gear train. So let us see that let the arm C be fixed in the epicyclic gear train, and the speed of the gear A relative to arm will be Na minus Nc, and the speed of gear B relative to the arm C, that will be Nb minus Nc. So since the gears A and B are meshing directly, therefore they will revolve in the opposite direction, that is Nb minus Nc by Na by Nc. So that will be equal to minus Ta by Tb. So since the arm C is fixed here, therefore its speed will be Nc equal to 0, and Nb by Na will be minus Ta by Tb. So if the gear A is fixed, then Na is also 0, and you will be getting some equation for this, that is Nb by Nc equal to 1 plus Ta by Tb. So same thing if you use in the to solve this same problem here. So assuming that arm C is to be fixed and the speed of the gear relative to arm C will be Na minus Nc, and the speed of gear B relative to arm C will be Nb minus Nc. So since the gears A and B revolve in the opposite direction, therefore Nb minus Nc will be equal divided by Na minus Nc equal to T minus Ta by Tb. So when the speed of the gear B, you have to find out for when gear A is fixed. That is first condition. So here Na will be 0 and Nc is 150 rpm, that is given in the question. Okay, so you get Nb minus 150 divided by 0 minus 150, so that is equal to minus 36 by 45. So you get here this one as minus 0.8, and Nb if you calculate, you get 270 rpm. So you get the same answer what you got in the tabular method. Okay, and for the second case, if they want to find out the speed of gear B when gear A makes 300 rpm clockwise, so Na you take it as minus 300 and you substitute the minus 300 in the equation, so we will be getting Nb as 510 rpm. Okay, so you will get the same answer what you got in the tabular method. Okay, so you can use this algebraic method also, but here as it is only two gears, this is will look simple. Okay, but for more number of gears we will prefer the tabular method only.